What's good, Cowboy Nation? Uh, look a little rough right now, but shit. Right now, the time of this recording is 2 o'clock in the morning. But I've been doing a lot of pondering, a lot of thinking, a lot of researching, looking at data, shit like that. It's about the Dallas Cowboys. Look, let me say something. The point of the season right now that the Cowboys are in, we got a backup quarterback. Cooper Rush is doing exactly what you want a backup quarterback to do. Because look, if you go back a couple years ago, when Dallas had to lean on a backup quarterback, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. You can go back, you can Google it, you can look at the stats, you can look at the quarterbacks that we had. We have Brandon Weeden, Kellen Moore. You go back a couple more years, John Kitna. It was never good. But this year, Cooper Rush, obviously, it's not superstar talent. It's not ideal. It's not what you start the season with. It's not what you want, basically. But this year, it's a little different. It's a huge testament to a lot of different things that you may not really think about. As a casual fan, as a normal fan, just looking at every team in the league. Somebody who may have to go into a game with a backup quarterback, a backup lineman, a backup safety, a backup lineman, a backup receiver. The list goes on, right? And if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, you look at the quarterback position, and it's Cooper Rush. The first start, you look at it as something as, they're going to lose every game that he starts until Dak comes back, right? But that's not been the case. He's won every game that he started, and obviously, as a Cowboys fan, you're going to look at it as he's better than Dak, or even as an NFL fan or somebody who follows football, you're going to look at it as, is he the answer compared to Dak Prescott as the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys? And there's a lot of speculation to that, right? And we don't know what the answer is, because the NFL is definitely a next man up mentality, regardless of position, regardless of situation, regardless of just day-to-day, week-to-week starting lineup. Whoever goes out there, you just expect them to go out there and do their job, right? And if you look at the Dallas Cowboys and you look at what Cooper Rush has done, he's got the job done. But it's not just on him. It's not just on him. If you go back a year ago, you look at all the things that the Cowboys have done wrong. And you can point a finger at a lot of things. And, the number one thing that you can point your finger on is penalties. This year, there's been penalties because every team's got penalties. Every week, teams get penalized. Boneheaded plays, situational penalties, offsides, holding, big play penalties, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And the Cowboys this year, the games that we've won, there's been plays where you feel like this shouldn't have happened and that should have happened and blah, blah, blah. But that's the same thing for every team in the NFL. all 32 teams in the NFL, you look at that as stuff that shouldn't happen because it comes down to coaching. It comes down to discipline. It comes down to preparation, etc. You know what I mean? And if you look at the Cowboys' 6 games up until this point, I mean, they've, for the most part, have done everything that you kind of ask them to do. Obviously, we don't know what goes on. We don't know what goes on into practice and preparation and game plan. We don't know what goes on to that. The only thing that we see is every Sunday, every Monday, every Thursday, when the lights come on, when the cameras start rolling, and everything comes to fruition. You know what I mean? And that's all we can see. That's all we can really judge off of. Up until this point, I mean, we know what Dallas's defense, we know what they bring every week. Up until this point, because it's a long season, and we understand that. Every football fan knows that. We know it's a long season, and just because the first quarter of the year, that does not mean that the rest of the season is going to go like that. And we all understand that. We all know that. Because there's been a lot of teams that make it to the Super Bowl at 9-7, 10-7, make it to the playoffs at 10-6, blah blah blah. You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. But for the Dallas Cowboys, man, for us sitting at 5-1, or sorry, 4-1, not tied for first in the NFC East, because Philadelphia, obviously, they're playing great football. Don't feel like they've been tested too much, but obviously it's the NFL, so week to week, game by game, you know, it's situational. And if you win the game, then kudos to you, because throughout the game you win the game, and obviously they're undefeated, so props to them. But with Dallas being at where they're at, things that they've been through, we've had injuries. We've had injuries on the offensive line. We have obviously Dak's been hurt. Michael Gallup just came back a couple games ago. Jaron Kearse has been hurt. You know, and again, throughout the whole NFL, it's been situational. It's been injuries. It's been, you know, this game, this happened. That game, this happened. This player didn't do this, and this player had to come in and do that, and this player come in and had to do that. It's part of the NFL. And it's always next man up mentality, right? But for me, being a lifelong Dallas Cowboys football fan, up until this point of the season, I mean, the defense is just, I mean, they're riding high, right? I mean, this is one of the best defenses. This is one of the best Cowboys defenses that I've seen personally. Right? There's a lot of Cowboys fans that have been alive since the '80s, you know, and they've seen those Super Bowl winning Dallas defenses. But for me, being alive and not seeing a real Cowboys deep playoff Super Bowl win teams, this is the best defense that I've ever seen as a Cowboys fan. And they say defense wins championships. Defense wins championships, coaching, and running the football. Those are the 3 most important things that win championships in the NFL. And with Dak being hurt and Dak being out for these last 4 weeks, whenever he comes back, we're going to see just how important those other phases of the game are. Because if we can get Dak back in maybe like change his, his mindset, his perspective. Maybe change the play calling, because up until this point, if you go back last season and you just watch all of last season, it was very pass heavy, which is not what this team is built off of. It's not our team's formula. Granted, the stats are nice, Dak passing for so and so, a receiver having this stat, and blah blah blah, and this player getting this, and a certain amount of players scoring touchdowns. It's nice, right? It's good to watch, it's good for the media, blah blah blah. But when it comes down to it, a true testament to a team is how well they play like situational football, right? So all those situations, 3rd and goal, late in the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, kind of like game determining plays. That's what Dallas needs to get back to. And I love Dak. I'm a huge fan of Dak. I think he's a great player. Off the field, he's an even better person, right? We all love Dak. As Cowboys fans, as a person, we love him. And even the fans that, they say Cooper Rush is better than Dak, stop. Because we know that's not true. Dak is more talented. We get it. Cooper Rush coming in, winning these games, blah, 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 doing what he's got to do. But it's not all on him. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's treating it like a backup quarterback coming in. We get it, right? But all I'm saying is, if Dak can come back and we can run this offense the same way that we're running this offense, maybe add a little something extra. This defense keeps playing how we're playing. Special teams do it. Because there's 3 levels of this game, right? There's 3 levels. There's defense, there's offense, and there's special teams, right? If all 3 phases can click and do what they're supposed to do, that's the formula. That's the formula. And it seems so basic. It seems so basic because you sit here and be like, well, yeah, obviously offense has to score, defense has to stop them from scoring, special team has to kick field goals. But that's not always the case, right? And we see it all the time. You can go back 15 years and you can see one phase not doing their job, and it cost them the game. It cost them a playoff game. It cost them a Super Bowl win, right? That's all I'm saying. It's early. It's a lot of season to go. There's still a lot of story to uncover. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen when Dak comes back. We don't know what happened if Cooper Rush stays. We don't know. Blah, 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 blah. We don't know. That's what makes the NFL so exciting. But all I'm saying is, at this point, right now, in this season, the Cowboys, if they lean on the running game, Zeke and Pollard, and we lean on that defense, we will be A-OK. Once Dak comes back, keep the same scheme, and then add a little wrinkle to it, and we'll be straight. But we'll see how it goes. Cowboys Nation, man, stand up. We in here. Swaggy Nation, peace.